What's that, Skip? Shauno's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day everybody, it's Shauno again, and I'm back with some more Supercoach content. Today we're going to be doing our round 20 trades and captains video, and I hear you saying to yourself, hey Shauno, I don't have any trades left. Yes, you're a bit like me if you're in that case, but or maybe you've just got one or two, so you're thinking, why should I be watching this video? Well, I'm telling you right now, when it comes to this end of the season, if captains are very important. So, if you want to push yourself up in the ranking, picking the right captain, or even if you do have a trade or two, that picking the right trade is very important. And especially winning your league match with the league final starting next week in most people's leagues. Yes, getting that right captain will be the difference between you winning your league match and losing. So before we get on with it, please subscribe to the channel. Yes, go ahead and sub now. Thank you for all your support, everyone. It's been an amazing season so far. But if you haven't already subbed, please do that now. Like the video if you like the video. Leave me a comment down below. And also, don't forget to join the Discord. If you pop your team in where it says post my team here, we'll put your team up at the screen when we do our Thursday live video, and we will have a chat about it. Now, one more thing before we move on. We are still running the poll to choose Shauno's 2027 team name. So this is up to you guys, and all you need to do to vote is put your vote for one of these three teams down below in the comment section. So the first one, these are all related to the live stream and things we do on the live stream. So the first one is Ralph Wiggum's Impossibles. And we get that one from this here.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Thank you, Ralph. Then we have Afl Akbar's Traps.
It's a trap.
Sorry if that was a bit loud. And the last one is Baldrick's Cunning Plan.
Don't worry, Mr. B. I have a cunning plan to solve the problem.
So they're the three names of potential names of my team next season. Hit me down, leave me a comment down below letting me know which name you would prefer. If you've already voted, please go ahead and feel free to vote again. That's the reward for watching multiple ones of my videos. This will be the last video where I give the option to vote, and then I will release the name on this week's live stream on Thursday. So get it in, your last chance to pick which name you prefer: Ralph Wiggum's Impossibles, Afl Akbar's Traps, or Baldrick's Cunning Plan. All right, let's get into the team, and these are my trades for the week. Obviously, Holmes is the big talking point. Holmes out and Bailey Smith in, and if you had watched my review video, you will see, if you haven't already watched it, go back and watch it and like it, but you will see this leaves me exactly $0 in the bank. Not 100, not 1,000, but 0 on the dot. So it's the universe speaking to me saying, Shauno, pick Bailey Smith. And so that's what I'm going to do. And so this is what the team will look like. It'll be Wilkie, Ash, Whitfield, Dacos, Clark. We have to run HK as in the defense here as our flex or, last defender position, with Will Edwards and Dirksen for cover. Dacos, Ashcroft, Bont, Smith, Walsh, Finn Callahan, Rowell, and Will Day in the midfield. And we'll have Fitzgerald on the bench here. In the ruck, we'll have Gawn and Jackson. And in the forward line, we'll have Sheasel, Horn, Francis, Durham, Pickett, Petrarca, the Thrill, Thorpe, and Sharp here for coverage, who also can cover in the midfield with a DPP from Bamfield. So hopefully that holds me a bit of coverage from the forward line. And Grundy in the flex. So that's my team. I've got 0 trades left, 5 weeks left. It's not ideal, but that's the team we're going to have to go for, and hopefully no more long-term injuries. And we do have a little bit of coverage just in case there is, like I said. So I feel like we've got a pretty much a full team with a few fake primos in there, with Hawk Khan being our flex position, but just in here in D6 instead of down in the flex, which is locked up by Grundy. So that's my team crew. But what about you? That's what we're here for. We're not here to talk about my team. What about your team? So in the way of trades, now not many of us are probably going to be looking at downgrades this week, but if you do have the luxury of having a few extra trades and you need to go down to go up, there's not a lot on option. What the ones I will give you, I still think I don't know. We'll take away this 3 matches. So if you can afford it, I think it's still worth paying up. If you need coverage, I guess this is the way to look at it. If you need coverage in the midfield, pay up for the Ollie Franco at 177. He's got 3 great scores of 85, 72, and 83. So that's very bankable as a cover going forward, and I can't see him being dropped. He's been a very good. I'm hoping that he won't be dropped. The other one is Noah Mraz. Again, I'm not too sure on his job security, but he has played the last 3 weeks, and he's got 3 very nice scores of a 101, 71, and 83. So if you needed someone in the back line as coverage plus a downgrade, then maybe, he is a way to go. That way, I think I'd be pretty safe having him on the field. Now, the only other one that I would think is there is Jackson Artemis, who played his first game last week, didn't light the world on fire, didn't get a lot of time on ground, only got a 31, but he is a 99k rookie. So if you just need, this is your other option. Unfortunately, I don't think there are any forward options that I know about. If I'm missing someone, let me know in the comments down below. But it's also okay at this time of year to do a 99k rookie. Now, if I was going to do a 99k rookie in the back line, obviously I'll get Artemis, even though he's got a 30, just so, he is playing and maybe he gets some more time on ground and maybe those scores improve. He was the number 1, pick from the mid-season draft, so maybe Essendon give him a little bit more of a run. And they did win their first game last week, so probably be pretty rough if he misses out this week. But then also, if you just have to get a non-playing player, get a 99k rookie in midfield or in the forward line to maximize your cash to move up, this is the time of year where that's probably okay. So, yep, if you have to do that, only thing I would suggest is probably try and pick one with DPP, dual position status, and that's going to make your flexibility a little bit more depending on where you need it. So for me, I've got the 2 mid forwards here. If you only had, say, you had Banfield, but you didn't have Sharp, and you need someone in the forward line, pick up a 99k mid forward, type of guy. And also the other thing is think about, have a look at the matches going on for the end of the season and see who plays the most like Sunday matches. So I'd probably someone like the Eagles, maybe like a Finn McRae. I think he's not 99k, but if you could find someone who 99k plays a lot of Sunday matches, he'll also offer you a really good captain loophole option for the upcoming games. So that's for rookies. Like I said, not much choice out there, but a lot of us won't be looking at them. Let me know down below too how many trades you've got. Very interested to know if you run out like me. First time I've ever run out of trades at this time of the season, but we're just gonna hope that things go all right. So talking about defenders, all right. So replacements for Max Holmes. Now, I think there are a few viable options. I think the Luke Parker one here is a viable option. He also has mid defense DPP, so it's not too bad. And he's gone, 66 in his last game, not great, but before that, 106, 142, 122, and 131. So I think he's a valid pick. Lockie Ash, I guess, is also a valid pick, but it's been a little bit down since he moved to the midfield. Last few games. So what's he got? 67, 112, 105, 93, 113, 130. So that's still pretty good. So I still think you can go Lockie Ash. Neither of those two are my favorites. John Noble and Bodie Hewlin, both okay. I think you could have a go at either of these ones. They seem to be going back and forth to who is going to be the best guy down there at Gold Coast. And a bit same with Nick Blakey. I think you could go there as well if you wanted. But my 2 favourites, if I was going to go a straight, like you saw that I went to a midfielder and moved Hall Kahan back. But if you going to go straight to a defender, obviously Nas, Nasai, Wangan and Malira had a down game this week, but still probably going to have a really good end to the season. So if you can afford him and you don't have him, you probably grab him. I would, but I can't afford him. Now, the next gentleman, Callum Mills, has been on fire and has got a 5-round average of 116. So if we're going on current form, this is one of the out of the two that I'd be picking. So in the last, he's on a ton run since round 14, and really since around 11, he's only gone below a ton one time where he got 87. So 110, 87, 115, 109, 119, 104, and 133. So very consistent. I think a very valid pick. I certainly would be considering picking Callum Mills. And the other one that I really like, where is he, is Wayne Malera. Again, him and Callum Mills both have a little bit of an injury past, but both have been okay this year. And Wayne Malera is running at a 5-round average of, what was it? 5-round average of 102. And he's gone 121, 117. Before that, 95, 93, 84. Don't forget Rory Laird is going to be out of the team for the next a couple of weeks, I think. So he's probably got, the monopoly. Well, not a monopoly. There's Worrell and others back there as well, but more chance to get more possessions. So he's had a few good ones, but he's got a very easy run. If you look at his run for designated kickers and those running halfbacks, his run is one of the best that there can be. And he's also got the potential to go big, like the 143, 142 here, so, and a 127, a little bit higher than the Callum Mills by the looks of things. So one of those two would probably be my favourite. I also think Callum Wilkie will have a reasonable run to the end of the year. Yes, he didn't have a great match last week, but that's because Geelong put the clamps down on St Kilda. Whether other teams are going to learn from that and do that too. But before that, he's gone 130, 100, or 191 and a 74. And, pretty much over the season, he's only dropped below 100 if you take out his injury game a couple of times. So another fairly safe pick. If it was me picking, I'd probably be picking out of Malera or Mills, and then my second options, the second group would be Wilkie and the Luke Parker. So that's who I'd be going if you needed a defender. Obviously, I'm assuming that you already have Whitfield. If you don't have Whitfield, pick him up. Still good value, still good at the game. And who else do I have in the background? Yeah, Whitfield, and I wouldn't be doing any of these other guys. So that's who I would go if you want to do a straight defender. Like we said, if you can move your midfield around a little bit, maybe, there are plenty of mids. If you've got a luxury of having a few more trades, people like Lockie Neal is still good value. Will Ashcroft. If you haven't got Bond, pick up Bond. If you haven't got Dacos, pick up Dacos. All the big dogs. Probably at this time of year, I like to pick the guys who are in form. So, Will Ashcroft, even though he only got a 99 last week, he still got 32 possessions and 12 contested. Could have been much bigger. I have him in my team now. So, obviously, Butters is out. Bracio's on fire, but I would stay away from him. So, there's Jordan Dawson is one at 580 that I would really consider picking up if you needed a midfielder and you don't already have him in your team. I think Zach Merritt's a bit up and down depending on where the coach wants to play him. So, it's a risk, but you could go there. And then, Isaac Heaney is down as well at the moment at a reasonable price. You can always jump on him. I think it's kind of just pick who you like out of those, top guys. As we saw quite a few of these top guys, most of us should probably already have. Now, some of these guys are forwards, which is kind of surprising. So if you did need a forward, Rowan Marshall is absolutely killing it without TDK in the team. I wish we could have a little bit more clarification on how long TDK is going to be out for. But, I think if you had jumped on him beforehand, great. If you look at the team injury list today and it still says TDK is going to be out for a few more rounds, maybe you could still go there. But don't forget, if you're like me and playing for Supercoach leagues and finals, those last couple of matches, you don't want TDK coming in your grand final league match and costing you the match because Ryan Marshall gets a 60 when they're both in the team. But if it's just for overall score, I guess he could still be a viable option. Plus, he offers you a bit of DPP action to cover in the ruck if, touchwood, we were to have any issues in the way of a ruck injury. So, who else? We've got Jason Horne-Francis. If you don't have Jason Horne-Francis, obviously we should probably all have Sheasel. Bradley Hill had a down game this week, but think he could be back next week, depending off, again, if anyone thinks to put the clamps on St Kilda. Durham doing very nice, probably still under 500k, probably still a decent pick. Looks like he has that obvious forward role locked up. Chad Warner, he is also on fire at this time of the season, so I think he is another very valid pick. Zach Bailey, the same. These guys are doing very well. Tom Sparrow is also putting together a pretty nice season, and he's gone 100 the last 3 weeks in a row, including 120 and 140. But before that was a bit up and down, so I think I prefer some of those other guys. Kasai Pickett, again, he's been a bit up and down, but I think you can definitely go there. DeGoey still looks good. You can definitely go there. So you've got a bit, and Rank. The Rankinen, he is one of my preferred options. So he is also doing very well. I think if we went the last 3, he jumps right up there. So my top picks, I think Rowan Marshall, depending on what you're playing for, overall rank and coverage, I think is fine. League matches, I probably wouldn't do it. Brad Hill, I think, is still fine. Rank is definitely right up there. Horne-Francis is definitely right up there. Durham right up there. And Pickett and Zach Bailey are right up there. All of them DPP. All of them offer you a little bit of flexibility. And if you're in the luxury position of getting a 23rd primo, and we don't have much coverage in the forward line. I think I'm one of these very lucky ones who has Dyson Sharp on the bench, but a lot of people are running with no cover on the forward line. Getting a 23rd primo of a Zach Bailey, or even your flex position of a Zach Bailey or a Bradley Hill or someone with mid forward, or even like we talked about the Ryan Markle with the ruck forward status. Could really help you out in the run to the end of the season, especially if we were to have more injuries. So that's it for trades. As I said, I think that's going to be the not as important going forward as what is the captain's situation. So on Thursday, if you have Jordan Dawson, I think he's an okay vice captain pick. Ed Allen may go to him. Everyone was predicting that last week Rankinen would get the tag, but it went to Jordan Dawson, and I have a feeling the same thing will happen this week. Maybe not, but it did last week. And Collingwood have Dacos, who I also think is a reasonable vice captain option. I think I would choose Dacos over Dawson if that was going to be your choices. Don't forget, when doing your captains and vice captains, make sure you have a loophole to get your captain score. If to get your captain score on field, make sure you can do it. You have a player playing late in the round, like I have Banfield who plays late in the ground, and if I have to, I'll bring Ashcroft, who also is playing late in the round, onto the bench, and then I will be able to make him a captain. So Melbourne versus Geelong. Now, here is one that's a bit interesting, because if Max Gawn plays solo ruck, so if they drop Max Heath, Max Gawn is probably my number 1 vice captain. But if Max Heath plays, this 70-30 split is just enough to turn me off that match. Yes, he might score, okay. Now, that 74 last week wasn't completely due to the ruck split. He was also injured for a bit in the early on in the match. But I still think that 30% to 70% split ruck time is enough to cap the ceiling of Gawn. Like, instead of him getting a 170 or a 180, maybe he gets a 110 or 120, on a good day, a 130. Now, I could be wrong here, and I think it's still a fairly safe vice captain pick, but I think there are better options if he plays with Heath. And again, if Heath doesn't play, he is my number 1 vice captain option for the people out there who haven't. Geelong, I guess you could have a go at Bailey Smith. He's been pretty consistent lately, so I wouldn't mind a vice captain on that one. Again, not in my top picks. Now, I think Luke Jackson against West Coast is a very good pick. If Gawn is not playing, is playing with Heath, I think chucking the vice captain on Jackson is a very viable option. He plays against Bailey Smith, who he usually scores well against. And even if he goes and rests forward, I don't know if there are any of the defence in West Coast are going to be able to stop him clunking marks and scoring goals. It could be it should really be a slaughter. As an Eagles supporter, I have to admit I'm having all my friends over to my house to watch the slaughter. Half of them are Freo, half of them are West Coast, and I really do expect to lose. So, but the last 3 games, 125, 123, and 165. There has been a few occasions this week where Luke Jackson hasn't played when he plays against the easier teams, they kind of, he doesn't go so hard and they rest him a little bit up forward. But I think even if he rests up forward in this match, he could just rain goals because I think we have no defenders that can go with him. So I think he is a very good vice captain, and he is definitely in one of my favourite vice captain options. Carlton versus Gold Coast Suns, I wouldn't be going anyone here. Hawthorn versus Essendon, I just don't. I know Essendon are the easy beats, but I just don't trust Newcomb or Will Day to get enough. I know, they give up points, but I think there's much better options out there. So I wouldn't be picking either of those guys, even though they've got the easy matchup. GWS versus Sydney. Maybe you could have a sneaky go at Grundy. Maybe he dominates the ruck there, but he hasn't been in great form lately. He hasn't even cracked I think he's cracked like 105 matches since I bought him for 700k. So he's got 96, 100, 105, 90, 119, 90, 95. So since he got that 203 where I bought him in at round 10 for 700k pretty much, he's only got 103 times and he's lots of 90s there and nothing more than a 119. So like I usually say, I like to go on matchup and form, and he doesn't have the form at the moment. So I'm thinking that I'd give him a miss. He could do well, but I'd give him a miss. I think there are safer options. Now here I think is probably the safest option for the round for your captain or vice captain. I think I can use him as a vice captain because I've got Banfield, like we talked about, the Banfield and a Washcroft option. But make sure if you're going to choose a Bont as your vice captain, that you have a way of getting someone on the field, like I have here with Banfield, where I can put the captain on him to get the score if he gets a big score. So I think he, against Richmond, has the best matchup and should absolutely destroy them this week. So I think Bont is pretty much my favourite in the vice captain options. I think whether he's one or the other, he definitely should be in your calculations. Now, the next match, Brisbane versus Port. I think Port in the depleted midfield. I think Lockie Whitfield and Will Ashcroft are both very good options. I think, if you were going a vice captain Bont into Will Ashcroft, which I can't do, but if you could, I think that would be a reasonable pick. And or Lockie Neal, I think both could have big matches there with the depleted Port midfield. Now, the last match is also North versus St Kilda. You could have a sneaky go at Nas, but I think the Finn O'Sullivan tag may go to him, so I'd probably avoid Nas. We saw what happened last week when he got O'Shea Mullen, so I think I'd give Nas a miss this week. But I do think if you go into Sheasel, if you could vice captain into Sheasel, which is pretty much, this is what I'll be doing, I believe, unless Max Gorner's soloing ruck. If Max Gorner's ruck soloing, he will be my vice captain into Bont. But at the moment, I think I'll be going Bont. And if he fails, I will go into Sheasel, who against St Kilda, I think will be a really good pick. Let's see how he's gone in the past. A 131, a 73, and a 110. Okay. Still 131 last year, where he really started breaking out in that role. So, I think he could go very well. So once again, my 3 top picks, give you again my 4 top picks. Max Gawn with no Max Heath, otherwise avoid. Luke Jackson against the Eagles, Bontempelli, and then either Sheasel or one of the Brisbane boys. But we'll just say Sheasel. We won't make it too confusing. So Bont, Gorn, Jackson, Sheasel, but the big asterisk next to Gorn needs to be soloing ruck. So anyway, crew, that's my captain picks this week. Like we said, very important. So hopefully you guys and girls will keep watching these videos. The captain pick is going to be extremely important when it comes to winning your league matches. And if you want to drag your way up the rankings, or say you're right up the top of the rankings, you're in the top 10 or the top 5, the difference between you winning Supercoach and not winning Supercoach, having that 50K in your bank account and not having that 50K bank account is going to be your captain choices. Anyway, crew, thank you so much for watching. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. That helps me out so much, and I appreciate all the support that I get from all the guys and girls out there. Like the video, leave me a comment down below. Don't forget, vote on my team. Which name do you like? Don't forget to vote. We'll bring that up one more time before we go, just to finish it off. So here we go. Stretch it out, make it good. So yeah, Ralph Wiggum's on possibles, Admiral Akbar's traps, Baldrick's cunning plan. Vote for one of those in the comments down below. Last chance. And don't forget, and we will name and let you guys know what the decision was, what the votes, who won on Thursday during the live video. This week it will be in the morning/afternoon, depending on where you are within Australia. And yeah, I love those videos, so come and join us. Don't forget, join the Discord, put your team in where it says post my team here, and we'll put your team up on the screen and have a chat about it. Okay, everyone, I hope everyone has a fantastic week, and I will talk to you all again very soon.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is